everybody, it's Miss Crystal from the Dickinson County Library, and you're probably wondering why I'm dressed like this. This week for our Wednesday Read Aloud, we are going to read A Cooked Up Fairy Tale, written by Penny Parker Klostermann and illustrated by Ben Mantle. And this book is published by Penguin Random House, so I want to thank them for allowing us to read this book online to you. A Cooked Up Fairy Tale. Although William lived in the magical land of fairy tales, he preferred pastries to princesses, kitchens to kingdoms, and recipes to the royal reporter. William dreamed of being a chef known throughout the land. Whether sautéed, sifted, basted, or baked, pureed, poached, filleted, or flaked, William's dishes were perfect. But cooking happily ever after was a different story. He tried working at the brick house, but the menu was too dangerous. This recipe down here says pot a wolf stew. Bring water to a boil, stir in 3 cups peas, 3 cups carrots, 3 cups potatoes, add 1 big bad wolf. I don't think I would like that recipe. He'd served up porridge at 3 Bears Bistro. Too cold, too hot, but folks were very persnickety. And he baked for gingerbread on the go. That hadn't ended well either. William decided he'd better cook from home, but his pantry was almost bare, so he'd emptied the last few coins from his cookie jar and headed to the market. "What's this?" asked William. "Fairy tale food must be splendid." There's a box down here with some food, and it says, "To Judy, Chief of Fairy Tale Headquarters. Fairy tale food must deliver for bedtime." But it was only raw apples, beans, and a pumpkin. "This isn't splendid," said William. Clearly, Fairy Tale Headquarters needs a good chef to spice things up before the bedtime delivery. So he sliced and diced, chopped and topped, and stirred and whirred. Then he packed up his delectable, that means delicious, creations and followed the signs to Fairy Tale Headquarters. "Judy, I need the apples, and I need the beans." "The pumpkin, Judy, the pumpkin." "Where can that delivery be?" asked Judy. "In a stew." "I believe I can help," said William. "May I present baked apples with caramel drizzle, bean soup with smoked ham, and pumpkin pie with cream and candied pecans?" "Who? What? Why?" stammered Judy. "I need shiny apples and raw beans and a whole pumpkin. Don't you know anything about fairy tales?" "I'm sorry," said William. "I read cookbooks, not fairy tales, but maybe I could—" You've cooked up enough trouble," said Judy. "It's bedtime and the tales must begin. Now leave and take this book of fairy tales with you." William plopped down outside the kingdom wall and opened the book. Poisoned apple, beanstalk, pumpkin coach? "Oh my," said William. "Fairy tales really do have their own ingredients." He rushed back to find Judy. "Did I spoil the apple story?" he blurted. "No, Snow White, actually, she loved your baked apples and ate every one. She was so stuffed that she fell into a deep sleep. Of course, this caused a stir with those 7 dwarfs. But then there was a passing prince and a kiss, so happily ever after. Thank goodness, said William. And the bean story? I think the bean story is Jack and the Beanstalk. The giant said something like, fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell soup and I want me some. Jack was in a pickle, but he drove a hard bargain and traded the pot of soup for the giant's castle in the clouds. Another happily ever after. Such a relief, said William. What about the pumpkin tale? Uh-oh, what's pumpkin tale do you think that he's talking about? Let's see. Cinderella? It's still unfolding. We'll find out together. Oh no, said William. This is a recipe for disaster. The pumpkin pie ended up being the pumpkin coach. Oh no, that's pretty messy. Then, as Cinderella was walking up to the castle, slip, flip, swack, she whacked the prince with her shoe. Smack! Right in the head, with pumpkin pie all over his face. Scrumptious, said the prince, simply delicious. He took another bite and said, I vow to search all the land until I find the baker of this pie. Cinderella slumped in her puddle of pumpkin. This isn't happily ever after, sighed Judy. Uh-oh. Happily ever after, murmured William. He strode right into the fairy tale. Your Highness, I baked the pie, and I will bake you pies ever after. But may I suggest you can have your pie and your princess too? The prince gazed at Cinderella. You're a feast for my eyes, he said. Would you care to dance? My, said Judy. It looks like you've cooked up another happy ending. And from that night forward, the prince and his princess ate like kings and queens, and William cooked happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I'll see you next week for another fun story time. Bye!